This rock star entrepreneurship economy and world right now, where being a business owner or a entrepreneur is like being the new rock stars of our generation, right?
Hi guys, my name is Joven and welcome back to the Sunclean podcast. I'm also here with John Erikson again.
Big Joven.
What's good?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, so I just had a couple questions for you this week. Let me just go straight into it.
Well, so last week we covered some interesting stuff, right? We covered how to, a couple things, right? It was, I think the biggest takeaways would have been how to identify where you're at in your business, right?
And then what makes a leader?
Oh yeah, and then leadership, how important leadership is
exactly
in any sort of business, right?
Yeah.
And so I think these podcasts are kind of like off the hip. It's just kind of conversational, but also a few Q&As, and probably later on we will get into questions from audiences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you guys are listening to this, you're probably an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you want to be a business owner, or you work for an establishment where you are an executive, or you want to be in leadership, management. Basically, you want to strive for excellence, or you're a salesperson that is trying to sell, or you're a marketer. You could be any of these things, or you could just literally have similar beliefs that we have in success, life, and happiness, right? And you'll get to know me as things go on, and get to know Joven, and get to know our company, and just kind of we're just here to share knowledge. So I just want to throw that in there.
Actually, my question for you today would be, what values do you have to bring on the table to make your business successful?
So core values, I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So core values are vital, dude, because in any sort of organization or friendship or relationship or cult, right? They call it culture for a reason. I mean, some would claim Jesus Christ was a cult leader, but he's our savior. He's a Christian, right? But he had core values of what he believed, right? I'm a Christian myself personally. I know people, Catholic, Christian, it doesn't really matter, but Jesus was an incredible teacher, right? He was somebody that believed in something, and he stuck with it, and he taught the people around him that, hey, these are some of the principles that you need to live by, so that way you can be X, Y, and Z, right? And so a lot of people get culture confused with having fun, which having fun could be part of your culture, right? Just having a good time can be culture, right? Cult like, hey, everybody just have fun. But does having fun serve your mission of what you are trying to achieve in whatever establishment or what you're trying to do? So does going and riding K1 go-karting serve your purpose and your mission if nobody even appreciates it anyway, right? So for instance, I'll give you an example. When I first was growing this business, I used to take people out to these nice dinners, right? I'd take them to Benihana's or something. I'd get everybody at the table, and I thought I was building culture, right? I really did. I thought I was building culture. And I would take them to these nice dinners, or I would take them K1 go-karting, or I would take them to these extravagant things that we would do together, right? And I'll tell you right now, none of those people are here today.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, none of them are here today. So is it true that by giving them gifts or doing something nice for them, or doing something as a group is building culture? No, not really. Not if you don't have a framework put into place beforehand, right? It's like going to one of your contractors, or one of your contractors, or one of your people, one of your employees, and saying, hey, they come to you and they say, hey, I think I deserve a raise. I want a raise right now, right? So then you give them the raise first without proving that they can do the work, and then they take advantage of that. So then they never end up doing the work. They never end up fulfilling their destiny. They just end up getting what they asked for, and then they don't do anything to back it up, right?
Yeah.
And so we used to do that because we were confused on what culture was, right? We thought just, hey, let's just spoil these people. Let's just give them a good time. Like, let's let them experience something that they've never experienced before. Let's go to a baseball game. Let's go to a nice restaurant. Let's give them a gift. Let's give them a TV. Dude, that doesn't mean anything. Like culture, right?
Yeah.
Like, how does that help your business grow and your mission?
Yeah.
Do you see how that can help your mission?
I'm not too sure if we're just gonna leave in the end.
I mean, like, yeah, they're just gonna leave, bro.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, like, yeah, okay, maybe some of them are grateful. Maybe some of them feel like, they're like, oh yeah, thanks, bro. Like, you bought me a TV, right? But like buying a new car, okay? Like anyone out there, right? Have you ever bought a new car? I mean, I've bought quite a few, and when you buy the new car, it's only new for like 5 days.
Yeah.
After 5 days, you're like, shit, I'm used to this. We just got I just got the Ford Raptor, and I thought to myself, this is gonna be a dope truck, right? And I still think it's a dope truck, right? I'm a big car guy or whatever, and I drove it off the lot, thought it was incredible. I'm like, driving fast with it every day. I'm putting it in sport mode. I'm putting my exhaust loud and everything, right? 5 days later, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not flooring it anymore. I'm not fucking with it no more. Every bridge I drive under, I'm not trying to hear the exhaust anymore because I'm used to it, man. I'm used to it. It's the same thing. I just got it. So the same thing is going to happen with any of your people or culture, right? If you think culture is giving somebody a gift or taking them to a nice dinner or whatever, it's only going to stick for a couple days.
Yeah.
So unless you can do this on a weekly basis and constantly just spoil your people, but then hence they would be spoiled, right?
Yeah.
So how important is culture? Culture is everything, because culture is not an act. It's an actual value that is encrypted in the individual, right? It is a character belief. It is a freaking it is what it is, right? It's you are who you are now because of these core values, right? And so anytime you can get a group of people to believe in a certain set of core values, in a certain way of doing things, a certain personality, certain way of acting, right? Then you got something special, because now everyone's on the same page. If you can get a relationship, a marriage, right, on the same page with each other, like we believe in the same thing, we are on the same mission, we are willing to be disciplined together, we are willing to sacrifice is part of our core values in our relationship right now, right? Sacrifice. Because what happens if one person's core values is I'm gonna sacrifice every day, and the other one is like, I want to just spend money every day and just fucking have a good time? You have a disconnect. This is not a good relationship. This is a relationship that's on two separate pages. One wants to spend a bunch of money and be spoiled. The other one wants to sacrifice. So what happens when you have a company of people where one person, the leader, wants to be disciplined, and the other 10 people in your organization, I don't care if you got 5 people, 10 people, 2 people, 20 people, they don't want to be disciplined. They want to live free. They want to be artsy. They want to backpack the world. They want to fucking travel. Okay?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you build a business?
It's just gonna go to shit.
Oh, it's going to shit. Like, it don't matter how much you pay that person. It doesn't matter how much money you want to throw at them. It doesn't matter fucking how many gifts you want to give that person or how many outings, dude. They will never succeed in your organization because their belief is backpacking, kumbaya, and smoking fucking weed on the weekends.
Yeah.
So our core values at our company, dude, is, and see, people get core values twisted. I hope that helped kind of clear up what a core value is in a company. Is we have a couple: constant growth, problem solvers, faith, discipline, and an extreme ownership, right? These are our 5 core values. And what we did is we sat down and we said, okay, in our organization, the people that are succeeding the most, the people that are winning the most, the people that are actually having the most success here in our establishment, subcontractor or not, what are they doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are these people doing? You know, what's making them successful? Why is this so hard for people to succeed within our establishment? Because that's what we struggled with for the longest time, is getting people to succeed in our business. They would come, they would see what it was like, and then they would just leave, right? And I guarantee there's millions of people out there that are struggling with this right now, that in their business, they're going from 3 people to 5 to 10 to 20, you know, and so on and so forth, right? And dude, they just leave, and you're like, why is this happening, you know? And so we've identified why. It's because of a difference of values, a difference of opinion, right? And this is why leadership is so important, right? Leadership is the ability to influence somebody. That's all it is. That's all leadership is, right? The ability to influence somebody. And so if you have the ability to influence somebody, put it this way, you're not going to listen to somebody that you don't respect, right, Joven?
Yeah.
You're not going to listen to them.
No.
If they tell you to jump, you're not going to say how high because you don't respect them. For instance, if a leader cheats on his wife and then tells you to work hard, are you going to, or be disciplined or be straight and narrow? You're not going to listen to him because he's doing things on the back that are sneaky, right? He's cheating on his wife. He's doing things that are just like, why would I respect this person?
Exactly.
Right?
What's the point of listening to you if you can't even, like, you know, fix yourself?
You can't even be loyal to your wife. How are you going to be loyal to me?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So self-consciously, you're not going to listen to that person. So leadership is the ability to influence people, because some people think like, oh, leadership is manipulation, leadership is brainwash, blah, blah, blah. To all those people out there, it's just because they don't know how to fucking do leadership. You know, they don't believe in leadership. They don't know what it's like to be able to take somebody and them listen to you. Because I'll tell you right now, dude, I used to tell people to do shit all the time and nobody ever fucking listened to me. Because I wasn't living up to their expectation of a respected human being that they wanted to listen to for me to even give information to in the first place.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they weren't going to listen to me. So going back to the core values is like, first of all, it takes the leadership to implement the core values. You can say, like I've seen people put them on their wall and just say, hey, these are our core values. This is what our, you know, like we like to succeed. We're number 1 winners, right? Blah, blah, blah. But dude, nobody takes that seriously. They just look at it and they just say, oh, that's some cool words. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's not real, okay? And so, dude, we're not perfect at this still. We're still pushing this and embodied it into people. But what we did to identify our core values was like, hey, what are these people doing to win here? And why is it so hard for people to win here? And we came up with the things that I was doing the most, and then the people that were succeeding here was doing the most. And the things was the constant growth. Like, they constantly wanted to do better. They constantly wanted to grow the problem solving skills. They were always willing to like figure out a new problem and attack it. The faith, having faith and trusting the process and like everything that we're doing. It doesn't mean faith just in Jesus Christ, like I believe, but just faith in general, right? Like, have some damn faith, dude. Like, don't be so like every day, like, oh my God, is this gonna work? And am I gonna make it? Am I gonna get a raise next week? Am I gonna fucking, people just psych themselves out. So it's like, we realize the people that psych themselves out will not win here. Because they will overthink shit so much, and you have to be so disciplined here to get through it that you're gonna fail here if you're not faithful. If you feel like you gotta control, look, I like control, I love controlling things, but I also have a tremendous amount of faith. I take risk every day, and I'm just like, fuck it, it's all gonna work out, right? But it's a controlled thing.
Yeah.
Discipline, right? Discipline, dude, is the number one thing that's gotten us here. You see some companies where they got like 4-week fucking paid vacations and shit. It's like, dude, we don't even like look up to that. Like, we don't even look at that and say, oh, that's fucking cool. Like that company gives 4 weeks fucking vacation. I look at that, dude, and no disrespect to anyone, dude, that wants to have a 4-week vacation, but it's like, dude, if you haven't built a life that you want to live and you need to get that much time away from your fucking life because it sucks that fucking bad, well, damn, dude, like, build a better fucking life. That you think that you gotta leave your life 4 weeks out of the year just to run away from it? That doesn't make no fucking sense, right?
Yeah.
So for me personally, bro, I would rather be at the office. I would rather be building our business. I'd rather be with my people. I'd rather be with, just doing our thing, dude, than being sitting on some fucking beach for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I'd go fucking crazy. To each its own. People value vacation. I get it. But I'm trying to build a vacation every day, bro. Like, I want my everyday life to be a vacation. Yeah. I want to walk in here into this office every day, and I strive for that to feel like, damn, dude, like I built something where I feel like I'm at vacation. Even though, anxiety kicks in, problems kick in, whatever, it's like, all those things I know are going to get better. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So discipline, dude. The discipline to show up every day and do the shit that's necessary, do the boring work that nobody wants to do. We've embodied this into our people that like, hey, dude, you're going to have to do shit that you fucking hate all the time, right? Extreme ownership. Okay, extreme ownership was a big one for me. This is what was a game changer, I think, in my personal development as a leader. And we wanted people to understand that, you know what, dude, like, it's nobody's fault but your own. You know what I'm saying? You can keep whining about it. You can keep fucking crying about it. You can keep blaming everybody in this damn world but yourself, okay? Until you start blaming yourself, change will never happen. And that goes for anyone, dude. You cannot change until you start looking within. And this comes from my personal experience of looking inward, of my problems, of my doings, of what I've created. And I started to realize that, hey, man, this is not what's happened to me. It's what's happened for me. It's made me a stronger person. And so now I got to do this. I got to do that. The team fucks up and they don't deliver on one of our job sites. They don't hit their deadline. It's my fault. A fucking asteroid comes and burns our office and I got to rebuild it. My fault. It doesn't matter. It's all my fault. And I've studied highly successful people, and 99% of them take extreme ownership. Period. If you want to read an incredible book, to anyone, you Joven, or the fucking audience, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink, ex-Navy SEAL, incredible book. This book will change your perspective on accountability and extreme ownership. It's changed me, it's helped me, and I think it's great. All right.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, John, with everything else, like the core values of what you have, how was it like your first year of your company then? Like, what implementing, like, did you implement the values within your first year, or when did you start implementing those values that you made within your business?
Yeah, that's a better question. I mean, so you want to know core, like, when did we implement the core values into the business, or how was our company like in the first year without having any sort of core values?
Ooh, let's go like with the first. Yeah, but let's go both. Like the first year where you didn't have it, and then the following time where you actually started implementing. What were the changes after that?
Well, I mean, so I've owned multiple businesses now. Like this is my fourth business, maybe even fifth. I can't remember, but I've never had core values implemented in any of my businesses. And so what I can tell you is that it took me 10 years to figure out that that's what needed to happen, right? I can tell you it took a decade. And I don't know if it was because of ignorance of like thinking I knew it all and everything would be fine and there's no need to know this new knowledge and implement it. I don't know, maybe young, thinking I know everything. But the truth of the matter is, man, is that there's so much shit out there that you don't know. That you don't know. That's the crazy part, right?
Yeah.
And when you're trying to learn things for yourself, you're trying to figure things out for yourself, you tend to take longer because you're not learning from somebody else's action or their mentorship. You're having to fail and then figure it out, right? And I'm not the type of person that fails like the first time and then figures it out like immediately. I have to fail like 2 or 3 times, then I figure my shit out. So, I think getting to a point of worrying about that's what I was going to say earlier, is that a lot of people watching this, if they're just starting out or they haven't even figured this part out yet, because I know people do that have successful businesses, $5, $10, $20 million businesses and don't have this shit figured out.
Really?
Oh yeah. like just because they have high revenues doesn't mean that they figured their shit out yet. You know, they can have massive revenues, dude, and like every day is just like a shit show. You know, people are still quitting. Like they're holding on to dear life. Operational effectiveness is destroyed. You know, and they just have a high demand of their product and their service, and they're just, you know, maybe it's low profit margins. They just have high tickets and lots of work. It just depends, but that's besides the point. People that are starting, they don't know what they don't know. And all they're not worried about how do I bring people together and make them happy and create a core values and culture. They're worried about staying alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have 1% of room of capacity to worry if people are happy, because they're not happy. They're lonely. They're fucking miserable. They're broke. They're taking risks. Everyone and their mother's telling them not to do what they're doing, and they're trying to figure shit out, you know? And so, yeah, man, like, fucking core values is just not on your top priority list. Like, I think for me, it should have been, you know, because I probably could have saved some time. I could have saved some time and some energy, a decade of you know, failing, because like it took people to do something good, you know, and training other people to do something great, you know. But then again too, you don't have the money to have good people, right? So that was always my excuse, right? Like, one day I'll have good people to do this for me, but not today. I'll do it myself because I don't have the money. That was my number one excuse, right? Until I have the money to get great people, I'll get the great people then. But that was just an excuse, right? What I should have did is I should have implemented core values right away and started teaching people to do the things that I was good at. So then I can alleviate myself from doing the things that I was doing, right? Yeah. And you know, you hear people talk about that all the time, like, be the boss, like, you know, don't work in your business, work on your business. You know, you hear these cute sayings, but these cute sayings are like, well, how do you fucking do it?
Yeah.
You know?
You can always just say it, but
yeah,
how do you just do it?
How do you do it, right? And so going back to your question, because we got a little like curved here.
Yeah.
What was it like? It was chaos. I mean, it was, you know, all my businesses, every business I had without implementing core values or operational effectiveness or doing something that was like the way a company should be grown or having core values was chaos. It was just basically every day react to whatever's going on, fires everywhere, put out the fires. Whatever the biggest fire, it wasn't just like there was one fire, there'd be like 5 fires, and whatever the biggest one was, you just go and fucking ambush that one and hope the other ones don't get out of control and start working on those ones. So there was no to-do list every day. It was just whatever popped up, you take care of. You see what I'm saying? And you can't do that, you know? You can't do that for long periods of time. Like me, personally, I just got sick of it. You know, I got sick of having to do it. I got sick of... I felt like a prisoner in my business. I felt like I was just a fire extinguisher all day, and to make like as much money as I was making, I mean, I was making pretty decent money at one point. It just depends on how many different times you want to think about it. But, you know, I've had 4 times now where I've been in that circumstance, where it's just kind of like me busting my ass with a couple other people and trying to figure this thing out on how to be an actual business. You know what I mean? Like, that shit is hard. You know, it's the hardest thing. People underestimate what it takes to actually build a business, dude. Like, big time. I know because I did. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I'm just glad that I started a business when I was fucking like 21, because I was so naive that I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I just felt like, fuck it, I'll figure this out. You know, I'm young, I'm smart, I'm capable, I can do this, right? And that comes from my mother. You know, she implemented core values in me, right? And those core values was like, anything's possible, right? Hard work will get you what you want, but being smart and being fit and being mindful and you're a special person. Like she she implemented this thing in me that made me feel special, right? That I can do whatever I set my mind out to do, right? And I was very blessed to have a mom like that. That made me feel like I can do anything that I set my mind to. And so in those younger years, it was no big deal, you know? Like if I would have waited, I don't know, like a child, you know, a child's naive and they're just like, I'll touch a light socket, you know? They're not thinking about it, you know? They're just like, fuck it, you know?
Let's see how this feels.
Let's see what happens, you know? I don't care about the consequences. I don't care about the lawsuits. I don't care about, you know, going broke. I didn't care about any of that stuff. Like, so it gave me experience from 21 to where I'm at now. Here we are a decade later building businesses and falling on my face multiple times and doing it the hard way, man. And picking business ideas that are service-based businesses that are hard as fuck to profit, hard as fuck to do, hard clientele to deal with, hard people to deal with that are attracted to this type of work, right? But it doesn't matter. It's all excuses. It's all noise. Like, you just do it, man. You wake up every day and you try to do a little bit better and you try to get a little piece of education that will help you. This is what the content like this is for. That's what I did. Just my big mistake was going too wide and listening to too many people and too many different opinions. And, you know, that shit will just stump you. You'll get stuck.
Get like you're consuming so much information. I'm like, where do you go? Not only that, like, of course you're gonna get stumped and everything else.
We call that analysis paralysis.
Oh, I like that saying.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it before.
You get too much information, you get stuck. You know, you're just like, fuck. What do I
do with this information?
What do I do with this information? Exactly.
It's like I have it, but now what do I do?
Exactly.
and then my last question for you is like, well, what's your advice for the people like starting out from like month 0 to like 1 year? I know that 1 year gap is probably like the biggest make or break for their company. What's your advice for them?
Well, okay, so 0 to 1, I guess the question last time on our last episode was kind of like similar, but it was more like what would you advise a new business owner or entrepreneur like, you know, to do? And then we said depending on, you know, what stage they're in. Now you said 0 to 1 year. Okay, year 1. So year 1, dude, is all about just bringing in revenue. You know, just proving that your product is wanted in the marketplace. Like that's all that matters, you know? And a lot of times in year 1, you're going to be the person doing it. Like you're going to have to be the person to sell it. You're going to have to be the person to test the product or service. You're going to be doing the customer care. You're going to be doing everything. And so you got to get good at multitasking and problem solving and getting after it. And the biggest thing is you got to be able to motivate yourself in the beginning because you're by yourself. You have nowhere to report to. You have no boss to report to. You have no office to go to because chances are year 1, you're working out of your house. You're just trying to start, unless you're like a retail shop or something. But I would think if you're a retail shop, you got your hands on money somehow because that shit costs money. So you might have taken a loan or something. But if you're talking, like if we're talking year 1, you got $1,000 in the bank, not even that, $500 in the bank. You live on your own or you live with your parents, either one. It's still gonna be rough. You got to focus on how do you get your product into people's hands, man? And how do you make a profit? Like it all depends on your circumstance. Like, are you living at a dorm? Are you living with your family? Are you still paying rent? Like me personally, both times that I've built, all my times of building businesses, I had my own place. Like I had my own bills. Like, or I was roommating with somebody, right? So either way, I had rent, I had truck payments, I had all the normal bills that everybody else has, right? Still took the risk, still started the business, still was able to profit on month 1. Hence why I chose the businesses that I'm in. See, a lot of people ask, like, why do you want it to be, a type of business as you are? It's like, dude, just out of necessity. Like, it was accessible to me, right? Everybody's like, oh, like I want to do something special and like I want to be the next Elon Musk and I want to create content or I want to, fucking make manufacture televisions and shit. It's like, dude, you know how much energy and money and shit like that takes? You know? Like, okay, it's not impossible, dude. I'm not saying it's not impossible. But you better be prepared to go get financing, get loans, and or get angel investors or investors, okay? And 90% of those businesses, dude, fail. They all fail because they're just collecting money. They don't know how to be a great business owner right now. They get tons of money for a great idea, and then they just end up losing it all and falling on their fucking face, and their company's never profitable. They might even be operational and they keep getting money from people for 5-10 years and they're still not profitable. So if you want to build a real business, like a fucking just business from scratch, like you're just like, okay, yeah, let's build a fucking business. You got $0 in the bank and shit. It's like, dude, come up with a concept, an idea that you can actually do that with, right? Where it doesn't take money to do. All it takes is action, sweat equity. So in my mind, when I started this business, it was just like, okay, how do I do this with just sweat equity? Okay, I got to sell. So year one is just selling. It's just knocking on doors, making calls. Like, it's not about how cool your Facebook page is, right? Unless you're going to build a Facebook page and you're going to digital door knock people. Like, you're going to literally hit up random strangers and instant message people every single day to try to, sell your services. Year one is all about survival and testing the market to ensure that your product or service even works. And even with year one of proving that it may or may not work, you may not get a proper answer. You might have to go year 2 or 3 to even understand, because year one, you're probably not even going to do that much business. Year 2, you're not even going to do that much business. So it's like up to you if you think like it's going to actually work, right? Big companies have all this, they spend millions of dollars in data research. They hire data companies across the country and they collect data from different markets and different areas, and they don't make decisions just off a wild goose chase. They literally have data in front of them that says we can capture this much of the market with our current skills. Okay, do it. It's an easy decision. When you're starting off, you don't have no resources. You got to be resourceful, man. You got to just get an idea that you think might work. And that's why I say practicality is not bad. A service-based business is one of the most practical things you can do, right? That's what America was built on, man, is simplicity, right? Like, hey, I'll do a service for you, right? I'll do construction for you. I'll mow your lawn. I'll paint your house. Like, I'll do this, right? That's practical, very practical. It's something people need. It's never going away, dude. You don't have machines that are painting walls or laying floors, or polishing concrete or whatever. That's all blue collar shit. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's so hard to answer that question because there's so many different things that go into year one. But I would say the simplest thing that you can do to just like narrow it down is focus on getting your product or service in people's hands. That's all that matters, dude. Not the development of your product, not the fucking logo of your product, not the name of your shit, not the t-shirts being made, not the fucking hats being made. None of that shit matters, dude. Because all that shit is irrelevant until you've proven that people want your product or service. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wish I knew that when I first started my clothing company.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest with you, like, when we went into our first year, all our focus was, like, honestly on marketing. How can we show the people that, we're here? Like, hey, my company's here, come to us.
Right.
But in our mind, it should have been like, how can we get the product to them instead of them coming to us?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's why we that's why we disbanded after 1 year, because we were just too focused on how can the people know about us without actually just giving them the product, not giving the product, actually like trying to present them the product.
Did you get any sales in your business?
We did, but we went negative, of course. But
that was like besides friends or family. That was like just random people that wanted to do business with you.
I want to say with random people, I want to say we made about 2,000 in 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did those come from and why did it happen?
Actually, it was my idea, since my business partner was like, well, let's present it to the people. I was like, no, I need to bring it to the people. So I went to, during COVID, there was a lot of car meets going on. I was going to a lot. So I'm like, why don't I just set up a booth and start selling from here?
Love it.
And then that's what I started doing. I started selling from in front of my car. And I started making a lot of jokes to get people come like, hey man, buy my clothes. I need to get gas money. I need to get home, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and I worked a lot. So I was getting the product into the people's hands. and they would like feel like, oh, this is nice material. And then like from there on, I started seeing profit. Like in one night, I made about like $780.
It's incredible.
One car meet. I'm like, dang.
So what did you identify? Like, so what happened after that? Like, what happened after that?
Yeah, after that, I was telling my business partner, like, hey man, we need to start going out more. We need to start going to car meets. But he was like on the idea of like, no, we need to promote on social media. I want them to order from the online store. Yeah, he was like on it. Like, I want to be strictly online. I'm like, dude.
Who was majority partner? Was it him or you?
Oh man, I was. He was the majority.
He was the majority.
Yeah, he was.
So he was more of the decision maker. Then.
Yeah. So I'm like.
This is a very common mistake, dude. Yeah. This is a very, very common mistake that I see with people, especially these days, because we live in a time where, you know, the internet is incredible, you know, and there's so much specialness that can happen on there. And you hear about these people that are doing millions of dollars in revenue on just like selling on Amazon, or they're doing drop shipping, or they have their own little t-shirt line, and they're doing great. Like, you see all these people are just highly successful, but you can't believe the lie, man. You can't. Like, it is going to be just as fucking hard, if not harder, selling your shit online than doing it in person and getting traction, right? Yeah. Everyone makes this mistake because they think that it's accessible to the whole world. And it's this beautiful concept of like, oh man, I just got to sit behind a computer and people are going to order my shit. And I'm just going to rack in money. It's this dream that we've all been sold that if we sell online, we're going to fucking crush it, right? You have a supplement, you have a t-shirt, you have a wristband, whatever it is, we're going to crush it, right?
Yeah.
To a point, some of it's accurate, some of it can work, but dude, when you're starting your business, it's like, dude, you need deals. You can't just post content and wait for people to come and hit you up and say, I love your shirt, I'm gonna buy your shit. Yeah. For instance, the things I see working the most on social that is right away in your year one, first month, is services, right? People that like design special balloons for like weddings or like, you know, birthday parties and shit, because my girl buys that shit all the time. And they just post on like Instagram and showcase like, hey, this is the job I just did. Hit me up. I'm in the area. I'm local. I can come to you and set this up, right? People are having major success with stuff like that, right? They make cookies, special cookies with special boxes. Hey, I live in your area. I'll drop it off to you, or I'll ship it to you, etc. Right? But, you know, even then, it's like, if the product's not fucking great, the only way that it grabs traction is because they proved how good it was in the pictures, and then they had people that backed them up and said, this was an incredible product. You know, you need to try this, right? It can't just be, hey, it looks great and people just buy it.
Yeah.
So it was an incredible mistake that your partner made, dude, that said, hey, we're just going to sell online. You actually had an incredible plan. I was actually going to say that if I started a t-shirt business or doing something like that, that's exactly what I would be doing. Yeah. I would be bringing it to car shows. I would be bringing it to snowboarding competitions. Like whoever my type of people were, I'd be bringing it to those shows and popping up a stand. And my stand would be at every single one of those shows.
And what I liked about it is like actually having a personal selling point where like you can like contradict what they're feeling. At first they'll be like, maybe not. You can always counter it, like, maybe you do. Like you can always influence it, like
that's
right
sales.
then and forward. Yeah. Right then and there, like we can influence like, come get my shirt, come get my shirt.
Well, it's like, why buy my shirt, right? It's not the $15, it's not the $20. It's what does the shirt represent, right? Why do people buy Nike? I mean, they go to the store and they see an emblem on it, as long as it looks cool and the emblem's good, because they recognize Nike. That's branding. You're trying to sell a product that has no brand. It has no meaning to anyone. So you have to bring out that meaning, right? What is that meaning of the shirt? And so you need the opportunity to do so.
Exactly, yeah. And nothing beats like your own personal contact.
Yeah.
You can't just
There's ways to do it online, right? There's funnels and shit. Yeah. You know, we can make funnels. We can do sales video letters online to explain people what it is we do. Look, man, there's a will, there's a way. But see, it's new skills. It's skills that have to be developed. The same thing that I had to learn the hard way about how to develop culture and how to develop people. I didn't have that skill.
Yeah.
I had to develop that skill. And so same thing with online. There's a whole skill on there that you need to know how to run funnels. You need to know how to get on video. You need to know how to do video sales letters. You need to know how to run ads so you can run people to those funnels. Those are all technical skills, but what's on the video is just as important, which is the selling.
Yeah.
You can know how to do all the mechanics of everything and then do a shitty sales video letter and you're never going to sell a fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It just depends on where you want to put your balls in your basket, right? Like for me personally, I've been doing this now for a while, just like on the outside of online, then I'm like, dude, this shit works. Let me just pour fucking gasoline on it and keep doing it, you know? Same thing with online. If people figure out how to do it online, they pour gasoline on it online.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, this works. I'm going to keep pouring gasoline on it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, bro.
Another thing that we should address here too is that like so many people think that they have to start their own business, right? And it's because we live in this rock star entrepreneurship economy and world right now where being a business owner or a entrepreneur is like being the new rock stars. And people talk about this, but I don't think they understand that, like, dude, not everyone is meant to own a business. Not at all. And it's okay to be a part of somebody else's business. Like, if you're going to go work in an establishment, it's okay to be a part of that. You don't have to be the number one guy. Being the number one guy means there's so much that fucking is on your plate, dude, that, like, most people wouldn't even want that fucking life, you know? So being part of a company is not a bad thing. You know, we need to start changing the way people feel about this because not everybody needs to start a business. You know, people can be highly successful working in an establishment, highly happy, highly creative, and basically be their own business within another person's business.
Yeah.
Because that's all a business is, a company, right? It's a company of people that come together, and then there's these little departments of companies that are being ran by special people. So we got to change the narrative, man, where you don't have to start a business to be successful. You don't have to just start a business because that's like the new thing and you can be in control. Like, what made you want to start your own business?
It's just more of a fact of like just wanting to do a dream of mine. Like, I always wanted to start a company. And then it's like, I know it's been itching in the back of my mind. Like, I'll regret if I don't do it. So at least I want to at least experience it once in my life. And then if I do it, if it fails, it fails. If it succeeds.
Where did that itch come from, though? Did you have parents that were in business?
No, actually, I was in multiple business programs in high school. So I always had a knack for business. But like with my family, all wanted to go medical. They wanted me to go medical. But like for me, I always had a knack of like selling a little items and all that stuff. Even when I was a kid, like I remember during like yard sales, I would try to I'm like 6 years old. I would hold up the poster board on the street, and I would like point an arrow to my house and like a yard sale. And then like going up to high school where I started going to like business programs, like learning about marketing, sales, and everything like that. I just enjoy the aspect of like being able to promote something that's never been created before, it has been created before, like an idea, and bring it up to life, and just be able to like present to like clients and that. It's just
which hence is probably why you found marketing.
Yeah. Which
is, I think, like more realistically, what you're talking about is marketing. You know, you're not talking about a business. See, you were talking about, hey, I was at a yard sale, I was holding the sign, I was trying to get people's attention, right? That's marketing, you know?
Yeah, it's like, I think for me, like going back to like, I don't have to be the owner of a company. I feel like, for me, I personally feel like if I can just be in a company with my skill set, that's going to be like fine with me. Like, I'd rather have that than be the number one guy, because I know I can be helping out the company in my skill set than being like the number one guy who's like doing everything else.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, people don't think about the other thing about being the guy or starting a business is like, they think of all the cool shit. They don't think of the shitty stuff. They don't think of the lawsuits. They don't think of the loneliness. They don't think of the anxiety attacks. They don't think of the sleepless nights. They don't think of the people that are not loyal to you and they just leave you at a moment's notice and you pour so much energy into them. Like, they don't think about that, man. Like, that's what that guy has to deal with, right? You have to have high pain tolerance for getting beat up every single day. I get beat up every single day of my life, dude. Every day, and I still got to get out of the fucking bed and make something of it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean by, like, not everyone has to be a business owner or an entrepreneur to have to deal with that shit. You know what I mean? It's just a shit show. But, you know, I also commend anyone that wants to do it, right? It's like joining the military, you know? Not everyone needs to join the military, dude, but
it's an option.
It's an option, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man.
Cool, man.
Yeah, this was a good talk.
Yeah, for sure.
Learned a lot from here. We'll catch you guys next week on another podcast. You can drop your questions down below. Drop a like, subscribe.
What day are we posting these?
It's gonna be for. I want to say I aim for like midweek.
Midweek.
Like
Tuesday, Wednesday, and we drop it on YouTube.
I drop it on
and
YouTube.
Apple.
Apple.
I got to get you the password. Shoot. Okay.
Yeah,
So you can find it on YouTube right now. That's the big one.
Yeah.
And then we'll do snippets on Instagram and stuff. But what's our YouTube handle?
It's
John.p.Erikson or something.
Yeah, the one that had the most subscribers.
Yeah, I think it's John
I've been
Erikson.
posting on that one.
Okay. Well, obviously, if you're on our YouTube thing right now, it's just John Erikson, JohnErikson. You're probably on our YouTube right now if you're watching this. But we're gonna put it on Apple iTunes as well.
Yeah.
And we'll do some content on Instagram and stuff like that. So. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This is Joven, John, and we appreciate you guys watching. We're here to just bring value. We're not asking for anything in return. We own a business. We are a business. Like we're not doing this as a business. We're not asking you for anything. We're literally just dropping value. We're giving you all of my years of knowledge based on this sort of topics, and then also just having fun and fucking around, you know. I hope to meet some of you guys one day and make some new friends, you know, build a community. That's what it's all about. So thanks, Joven.
Of course. Thank you. Catch you guys soon.
Next week.